In the 10th video, I want to talk about crafting bench, meta crafting, and blocking modifiers with the bench. When you go to your hideout, by default, you should have a crafting bench in your hideout. But
When
if you
I'm
don't
ready,
have one, you
and
go
not
to
before.
Edit, hit Decorations, and search for crafting bench, and you put it in your hideout. When you click it, here it says all the prefixes available for crafting, all the suffixes, and here are recipes that you have not found yet, and if you click on them it says where you can find them. For example, this modifier right here, damage while leeching, it says that the veil modifier should be from Vorici. This is how you find recipes. When you want to craft with the bench, something that is not really very important, but I'm gonna mention it anyway. Um, let's just say that your item, you buy an item from
Hello.
Act 1, for example, and it says that it requires level 12. For example, this one, it says that it requires level 12. And if you go to the crafting bench and you want to craft this tire of maximum mana, it says on the right here that it requires level 60. This is not item level. What you put on the crafting bench, it's not dependent on the item level, but it will make the item to require your character to be level 60. So you have to keep that in mind. It's a very minor thing, but this is something that you should know. Now let's talk about blocking with crafting bench. And for that we have to go to the Path of Exile. So let's just say that we select a wand because I bought one, and if I want to exalt, usually this happens for exalting. If I want to exalt increased cold damage, if my wand has increased cold damage crafted on it, increased cold damage like this, no matter how many exalts I use this or how lucky I am, I will not get exalt because this increased cold damage has the ID of 1. I explained it in a previous video. And if you go to the crafting bench, also these modifiers right here have an ID, and this increased cold damage has the same ID of 1. So if either this cold damage is present or this one is present, the other one cannot appear. It just simply can't appear. The same goes for fire damage. If your item already has cold damage, you cannot get fire damage. You cannot get lightning because they have the same ID. So this is one way you can block modifiers from appearing. What this is important is, for example, let's just say that you have a piece like this, and let's just say I want to use an exalt, and I don't want to get mana. I want to go for maximum life. Maybe I'm lucky and I hit maximum life, and I don't want to hit mana. I just go to my item. I craft mana on it. The any tire of mana. It doesn't matter. It
When
doesn't
I'm
have to
ready,
be
and
maximum
not
tire
before.
mana. Don't waste your currency. You just craft the mm, the smallest tire of maximum mana. So now you will remove that from the pool, and when you are going to use an exalted orb, mana will not appear. It will be impossible for your item to give you mana. So this is how you block with the crafting bench. Um, Another thing about the crafting bench, it's going to be meta modifiers, and you can also block with meta modifiers. But let's just show you what they are. So when you scroll down to the last modifier of prefixes, there are going to be these suffixes cannot be changed. It's a single prefix meta modifier. These suffixes cannot be changed. I'm going to use the emulator because I don't want to waste defines on this video. Um, so let's just say that I have these three modifiers and I'm really happy with them. Um, I don't want to lose these modifiers. I have these perfect modifiers on my boots, and now I don't want to lose them, and I want to do something else. What you could do at this point, you can use a meta modifier. You go to the crafting bench and you craft suffixes cannot be changed. But for suffixes cannot be changed, there is a beast mode. I think it's called Bristol Matron. What this beast does, it will add a meta modifier to your item. If your item already has 3 full prefixes and none of them is crafted, the only meta modifier that can give you is going to be suffixes cannot be changed. For the prefixes cannot be changed, it's different because when you go to suffixes and you scroll all the way down, you will see that the meta modifiers here are 4, so it will give you one of these 4s. So you're better off just um, crafting the desired meta modifier you want. But for suffixes cannot be changed, you use this beast. If your item has an empty prefix and all the other 3 suffixes are full, it will guarantee you, give you suffixes cannot be changed. Now, what this means, I can use an orb of scouring, nothing changes. The suffixes remain intact. I can have some other prefixes and I can use an orb of scouring and the suffixes remain the same. I could use an orb of annulment and the suffixes will not be touched. But pay attention, sometimes when you are doing this type of crafts, you can remove the suffixes cannot be changed. And at that point, you have to craft it again, otherwise your item is no longer safe. This is very obvious, but it's worth mentioning. Another way you could block with meta modifiers would be with this cannot roll attack, cannot roll caster, or can have up to 3 crafted modifiers with some prefixes shall be changed. And I will give you an example right now. If I'm trying to craft, for example, an amulet, and I'll show you what amulet I have. So I have this amulet that has +2 and some damage over time multiplier. I'm just going to copy it to make the process easier. I'm not going to go over the crafting process right now. I'm just going to show you how I would craft this item. So basically, this is the point of the point of crafting where I can use the bench. When you go to crafting bench, you can have up to the crafted modifiers like this. Can have prefixes cannot be changed because I don't want to remove the +1. This modifier right here, because it's yellow, it cannot be changed because it's a fracture, but that's for another video. And now I wanted to show you once again why I'm crafting 2 attacks, cold damage 2 attacks. I talked about the tags of the certain items, and now I'm on an amulet. If I'm looking at only cold tags, you can see that it's add cold damage to attacks and add +1 to level for all cold skill gems. And that is for prefixes. And now if I go to the prefixes crafting bench and craft cold damage to attacks, because I have prefixes cannot be changed. And also when you are using harvest and you add remove cold, for example, because we already have 3 full suffixes, it cannot add another cold suffix. It can remove any suffix. It cannot remove any prefix because we have crafted prefixes cannot be changed, and it will guarantee me uh, one cold prefix. And the only cold prefix that can guarantee me, as you can see right here, it's either +1 to level 4 cold skill gems or cold damage to attacks. But since we already have cold damage to attacks crafted, look at here, it has the ID of 10, and if you go to the crafting bench, cold damage to attacks also has the ID of 10. When I'm going to use this harvest add cold remove a random modifier, it can remove uh, a suffix, but it cannot add a suffix. It has to add a prefix, and the only prefix that can be added is going to be +1 to all cold skill gems. This is how you use crafting bench to block certain modifiers. This is how you use crafting to guarantee some modifiers. What example can I give you? For example, let's just take my rings right here, and let's go restart. So let's remove some of the modifiers right here. So let's just see that my ring looks like this. What I would do, I would go and I would craft suffixes cannot be changed. Now you cannot use the beast in this case because it's an empty suffix. You would craft suffixes cannot be changed. Now you could go to H-link and you could add uh, a veiled modifier, or you could go to harvest and you would add remove chaos. If you go to jewelry and select ring and you type in search and you search for chaos, the only chaos modifier that can give us is going to be chaos resistance. And if, because we have suffixes cannot be changed, it will remove the crafted prefix and it will give me a chaos modifier like this. It gave me a shit chaos resistance, but anyway, that's how it works. This is how you do it with bench crafting. Another thing would be, let's just say that you have an item. Uh, let's take for instance these boots. Another way you could use crafting to excuse me. Another way you could use crafting bench to block certain modifiers would be, let's just say that you have two prefixes and you want to craft a prefix, but you also have an empty suffix. And you don't care about that suffix, it can be whatever. The way you would do it, you'd go to the crafting bench. You craft anything, you craft any prefix. It doesn't matter what you craft because you don't care about it. You craft. Wait. You go to the crafting bench. You craft any prefix. It doesn't matter what you craft. Now all your prefixes are full, and when you're going to use an exalted, it's going to give you a guaranteed suffix because all the other prefixes are full. But you can later on remove this crafting and craft whatever you desire. So that would be another way you can use crafting bench to block certain modifiers. And also watch the video with veiled modifiers because there I explain how to also use crafting bench for blocking. But basically this is how crafting bench works. This is how you block with the crafting bench, and these are the meta modifiers.